Talking Technique, No Treble. This is Ari with episode 49. Welcome. I have some more Bach for you today. In episode 43, I brought in a easy piano piece arranged for two basses, where you could pick the top or the bottom voice to play on your bass. It's great for reading, it's great for your technique. Bach bass lines or Bach lines are typically quite challenging, and this is not written for bass, this is written for piano, so it challenges us in new ways. Just like last time, I have rearranged the piece. I have transposed it to make it easier to read and so that it lies well on the bass. And you get to play along with me if you like. So I have a version of just the top voice, which is the right hand, and I have a version of just the bottom voice, which is the left. And then I also recorded both of them together, just overlaid them. And then you can hear what it would sound like played with two basses at the same time. There are various charts we presented in your PDF, so you can choose whether you want just one voice or both voices, or if you want tab or no tab. I recommend you choose the one without tab, of course, and I also recommend, but use the tab if it helps, whatever works, you know. It's also nice to see the fingering in a way. But if you don't need the tab, it's easier to read, because I do recommend that you choose one of the charts that give you both of the voices, the right hand as well as the left hand. That is good because it's good reading practice to sort of glance to the other voice, and as you hear me play it or as you have a partner play it, you get to then see if you're matched up, and that's actually pretty good training. Sometimes we get to do that when we are having a melody line. We're trying to follow what the melody player is doing and we are laying our bass line over it. So I think it's good training. If you are picking the one with tab and with both voices, again, be aware and your eye will have to jump a lot. So I recommend you then take a marker and mark out the line that you need to look at as your main score, so that you can easily find your place when you are going into a next line. Today's piece is in 3. It's also from the notebook for Anna Magdalena Bach, and it is the minuet in B flat major. I transposed it to C, no accidentals to read. And the 3 rhythm can be a little bit of a challenge to read if that's new to you. So I recommend patience. It's a different feel. The bottom line, the left hand, is a little bit easier to execute than the right hand. And if this is new for you, I would recommend you start there. It's rhythmically easier and the range is smaller. The top line, the right hand, goes all the way up to a note that's technically out of the range of the 24-string bass. So you could play 6-string. I didn't want to do that because that felt like cheating. Some of you guys may not play 6, so didn't want to do that. I grabbed that one note with a harmonic. It's that A that's out of range. It's in bar 7 and then again in bar 15. So it's a bit gnarly to reach. If you want to take it down and play it here as written on the chart, that's entirely fine. Then there won't be any problem at all with range. But I did want to keep it like that because it sounds a little nicer if you play the bottom with it. All right, let's go. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to visit the link posted below to get the PDFs. You can use the YouTube gear icon somewhere here to slow down the playback. So that's a great tool if this tempo is too fast for you and you want to slow it down in the practicing process. Here's tempo 90. 1, 2, 3. Tempo 90, little left hand. 1, 2, 3. And now we're putting them together for you so that you can hear what they sound like as one piece. Tips on how to approach this. I think consistency in fingering is key. So I've wrote some fingering options down for you, and if you want to sort out different ones, go ahead and do so, but write them down and stay consistent with them. If you have trouble with a particular bar or a particular spot, isolate it. Back up for a bar, and maybe add another bar in the end of that spot, and then loop just that section over and over and over until you feel more confident with it. Articulation marks are very important when you are reading a score, and typically when bass players see a slur, it could mean hammer-on. These are not meant as complete hammer-ons. It would be impossible to play it if we did everything as hammer-ons and pull-offs. So the idea is just to give the phrase a continuity and to play the notes as smooth and connected under the articulation mark of a legato slur wherever they occur. I want to point out one specific spot to you, and that is measure 10, the trill over that C. TR means trill. And typically these pieces were played on a cembalo, and the cembalo doesn't have much sustain like our piano does. And it's very soft to begin with. So in order for a longer note to be sounding a little more exciting, people used a lot of embellishments, and not all of those embellishments were written out. So there's a lot of guesswork. Exactly what did they mean? Was it supposed to go up, down? You know, how was it supposed to end? And there's a whole way of writing these kind of trills. Mordents, for example, and I did an episode on mordents actually quite recently, talking technique episode. I will link that one as well. Would be one way, and a trill is another. And there's a variety of embellishments that are written out sometimes in some editions, not in others. So dissertations have been written on what do we think they really meant? So a lot of this is approximation, you know. But how do you execute a trill like that? Well, it's nice if you can do it with a hammer-on and a pull-off. It's like you play the note and you hammer it on real quick and then you pull it off. And it's nice if you can start slow and then speed it up. And then the ending of this trill is supposed to be under a slur. So if you started with your first finger to have more juice in your fingers, you can do, and then just slide down on the B, or you can start it with your second finger and do that. So I'm curious to know how it went for you. Please let me know in the comments how you did. I really hope you went for it. This is not the type of talking technique where we do blistering fast licks or do a lot of coordination shedding or a stamina or something like that. This is really a place where if you do all these coordination exercises, it shows. These types of phrases are very exposed, so there's no drum set to hide behind. Each and every note, how you go from one note to the next, when you cut it off, it's very delicate, and you're under the magnifying glass if you just play with one other person. And it's, I think, a really good exercise in listening and in executing all this technique cleanly as possible. If you have a relaxed hand, as always, you will hear that in your tone. So thank you very much for joining me today, episode 49. Thank you for watching. Systematic comprehensive teaching is what I do. I have a blog, arispaceblock.com, with free content if you subscribe, coming at you in your inbox every week. And I'm the author of Music Theory for the Bass Player and the Pentatonic Playground for Bass, True Fire course, and the 20-unit, very in-depth course called Music Theory for the Bass Player, where we put the theory to work in grooves, do loads and loads of techniques, exercises all across the fretboard, shed the location of the notes on the fretboard, do a bunch of exercises on styles, and much, much more. Comes with 130 background tracks and 130 PDFs and lots and lots of videos. So if you'd like to check that out, that's at arispaceblock.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.